Hello, my my Teacher King family. How is everybody today? I am well, kind of having fridge problems still. Um, it's a real old fridge, and so it stays on, but it makes this minimal noise, which really irritates me. I'm somebody who needs so I like peace and quiet because I got to think. So I had a fridge that was loud, that was really old. I don't know why. Normally, when you move, they give you brand new appliances, but not here. And then so they shipped in a new one yesterday. So I got a new oven and a new fridge. I don't know why they're not new. I got changed. So I went from 1970s to maybe 2000s. Still, they're old. So the fridge makes a little bit of noise. I think it's calming down. It was a little bit louder. And the other problem was I kept waiting for it to end. So when I had my other fridge, it would go on for a half hour and then stop. And it would stop for a half hour. And I go, peace and quiet. And this one doesn't seem to stop. Now, I don't know if it's because it's not there yet or what. I fucked my glasses up. I need a new pair. So I bent my glasses by mistake. And I can't believe I did that. And I'm looking a little funny here. There's a little bit better. Anyway, so they give me a new fridge and the fridge is running all night. And I'm thinking, well, it has to get cold. And, when you first turn it on, it's got to like charge up. So I don't know. Let's give it another day or two. I talked to my electronics guy who helped me with my TV station, my TV stand. He's actually an electrician. He says, well, sometimes they run all the time, but the new ones you don't hear them, so it doesn't matter. But it's not uncommon that the fridge runs all the time. The motor. Happy Wednesday. So anyway, not surprising that so it's quieter now. I can live with this, but I think I was waiting for it to turn off, right? Like, oh, it's still on, and it's frustrating, right? It'd be like waiting for your meal at a restaurant. You're waiting, and it never happens. And so that's what happens. But anyway, so our silver 88, just went up to 88.57. Finally, we're making a move on it, and gold still sitting about 4,700. It was 47.7. It went down. Oh, the 10 o'clock dropped to 46.75, and then we're coming back. Always the 10 o'clock drop. It's such bullshit. So we're near 47. We should be, 8,000 by now. I was listening to Mark McGuire, who got some stock eye on. I don't know why he wastes his time with stock eyes. And the guy clearly doesn't understand it. Is the paper in a bubble? Is it this and that? And you're like, where's the physical price? Gold and silver are not in a bubble. They're way, way undervalued. But because of COMEX pricing it, and it goes up, people think it's a bubble because the paper price went up. All they're doing is hitting it with derivatives. It's a lot of bullshit. The physical price has been suppressed. It is not in a bubble. The physical price is cheap. And they don't get to the conclusion that it can go up. Right? The physical price is at 4,700, should be at about 10,000 now. Oh, it's in a bubble. It's not in a bubble. It's based on supply demand. the supply is very limited, the demand's huge. The price should be much higher. But these idiots, these stockbroker guys have no idea. They treat it as a stock. And again, there's a big difference between paper and physical. So anyway, that's what we're dealing with. And I just shake my head when Mark McGuire does one of these things. You're just like, what the fuck? Anyway, so I looked into buying a new fridge. If this fridge kept with the noise, but it seems much quieter today. I don't know. I took something out. Maybe it was banging. I don't know. My electrician friend said to give it a few days and see. But I would prefer a new one. A new one doesn't make any noise. It can run all day. It's not expensive on the electricity bill, but you don't hear it. So you don't know if it's on and off. Here, you hear it on and then it takes a break, and we'll see. We'll give it a couple of days. Otherwise, I checked it out. I can get for $1,200, I can get a new fridge at Home Depot or Lowe's or ABC Warehouse, something like that. So I will keep that in mind. And he goes, well, will they let you? I go, I don't care. They won't know. I'm just going to have it shipped in, and, hope they won't give me a new one. But if this is low, we'll let it go for a while. So one of the things we were talking about at Toyota was the medium of exchange and a little bit about so tight to my face. I bent it by mistake. I was picking up and I accidentally bent it. I gotta get new glasses. I'm gonna do that real soon. So anyway, I don't want to break them, so I got to be careful with them. But they're bothering me, of course. So that was the first thing, and then we talked about value, which is what's in my title. So let's talk. The medium of exchange, as I explained a lot, is you exchange this for goods and services. So there has to be something that you can trade for the goods and service. Now I could trade the Joker for goods and service. I could trade this, but nobody will take it. And what's the value of it? And that's really what we're looking at. So, first of all, if we want to buy things, we need something that everybody wants. And that's how we developed the dollar. It used to be the tulip. It used to be seashells, tulips, all that kind of stuff. We used cows we used to use back in the day. But the best that everybody liked, the most wanted, was this. It's easy, puts in your pocket. That was the 1800. Now that used to be backed by gold and silver. So we're on the gold standard in the 1800s to the 1900s was basically we walked around with paper, and you watch these old westerns, Clint Eastwood. He has paper, for a few dollars more, right? He's in that one. He's a bounty hunter, and he turns in the guy, and they give him $1,000. Now that was probably backed by gold, or it was certainly acceptable money. Yeah. So that's what he used. It's going to drive me nuts. But you see, it was paper, and that's what they used back then. So the idea of paper, Clint returned the bounty hunter, got the money. Okay, so that was a fair trade. That was the medium of exchange. He gave him the body, they gave him money. He buys food, he gives them money, they give him food. People will accept that. And that's the key. That's why Bitcoin doesn't work. People have to accept it. Now, gold and silver, people will accept because you're actually giving them something. I think the battle that Bitcoin has is you don't give them anything. It's a digital thing, and most people don't understand digital, don't want to understand digital. They don't get anything. They don't know what the wallet is. They don't know what Bitcoin is. So that's one of the big problems. You're asking them to have faith that something digital is worth something, which it's not. That's your first problem. So what's the value of this digital thing? We have no idea. Well, it's 75,000. We don't know. It's not a free market. There's ETFs in it. And not only that, it's not easy to buy and sell. You don't know anything about it. And the biggest logic that they use is, well, if I go to Germany, I can just sell my Bitcoin, go to the ATM, and get euros. Really? Don't you have to put it in your US dollar and then do an ATM out of the US bank that you're associated with? You can't just download Bitcoin. Okay, so you download $10,000, you're in Germany. So you're telling me miraculously you need a PIN number and you need a debit card to put the money in from the ATM. You've got to look at your account and see there's money in it. How the hell are you going to do that with a Bitcoin account? So you have to transfer it to your bank. And then if it's in the bank account, then you can do it. Well, there's nothing different than I do anyway. If I'm in Germany and I need some euros, I do an ATM thing. And then there's the carry. Oh, you have to carry all that gold. Oh, what gold? You know, here's $10,000 in gold. Oh, it's so heavy. You know, you're not bringing $1 million in gold with you. You're not bringing the bar with you, which is one of the problems with the bar. The bar, it's going to be hard to sell. That's why actually the ounces or small bars will be better. So anyway, that's what you're looking at is that. And we don't really know the value of Bitcoin. We don't really know the value of physical gold because this 46, it's at 4,700 now. We don't really know what that is. We know that's the paper price of gold, but it's not the physical. So we don't really know values. And then, so as a value, as a easy to sell, it's very liquid, but we're not getting the proper value. Stocks are very liquid. You go and you sell a stock. Those aren't priced right either, but they are priced. So you would get whatever for Amazon. It's overvalued, but you would get it. So how do we get value? So the medium of exchange is I need something that I can buy and sell goods and services for. I can also sell Teaser King and I can buy a t-shirt. And I use money for both because that we know, oh, it's $20. Okay. So I put $100 for my Teaser King picks and I take it and go buy gold and silver, buy a t-shirt, buy whatever, new glasses. And you buy that with that. And that's what we'll do. So the value is what the market's supposed to tell us. But the problem with gold and silver and Bitcoin, it's not, there's no market for it. Gold and silver are looking at the paper options. We're dealing in physical. There's no market for physical gold that we know of. China is supposedly marking things at physical, but they're not. They're still using COMEX as people think they can. Well, I can get it at COMEX for 4,700. You can't sell it for 10,000 in the physical market. That's what's blocking it is COMEX. So there really isn't a physical exchange now. There is, but the price isn't correct. The price is still looking at COMEX. So this is what we have. Value should be determined by the market. In other words, here's my plate at Barcelona. What's the value of this? Well, the guy has that on the store, and I'm into plates. I got my Switzerland plate, right? And I went to Switzerland and got the plate, and then I went to Barcelona and I got the plate. I go, oh, okay, I'll collect a little of these. And so what do I pay for it? What's the value? The value, I'm going to sell it. What will you give me for it? You give me €5, €10. I think they were like 5 to 10 euros. That's the value. It's what I will pay for it. That's what the market is. I put it up for sale and a guy buys it. That's the market. Your job as the seller is to see, is there a market for it? And then if there is, what do I sell it for? So when I go into Toyota and the guy wants to sell a Tundra, is there a market for it? And what is the price? And we determine the price. If he puts it at 50 grand and nobody buys it, he's over market. So that's the other thing you have to figure. The market determines the value and the price. And in gold, we're not doing that because the market in the physical world is not determining the price. The options are. JP Morgan's printing all these shorts, and that determines the price. This is not a fair price. I'm going to show you Mark McGuire today. He's got some stock idiot on, and I can't wait to butcher him, but I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I just started watching it, and I'm totally disinterested. The guy with the stocks. The gold went up too high, and we sold it. Yeah, you don't know what you're doing, do you? Why aren't you buying physical, you moron? So again, to come up with value is determined by market. Is Bitcoin value? Is the Bitcoin at 75,000 the value? Is it in the market? And is it what the market will buy? And I don't believe so. I believe it's a Ponzi scheme. So I believe it's being controlled by Fink and Trump and this sailor idiot that are buying it. They're buying a lot of it. And then they're selling it from 120 down to 65. They made a lot of money shorting it, and now they're buying it. I think it's the same as the paper gold money market. I think it's obviously the paper. There is no physical Bitcoin. This is the biggest and strongest problem with Bitcoin. It's not physical, and it's not backed by gold or silver. Well, I'm sure it's 21 million coins. How do you know that? You have no idea. You're just, somebody's telling you that, and you go, oh, that's what the guy said. Why would he lie to me? And people think it's limited. It's not. So, excuse me. So hence is the problem. Is Bitcoin a free market item? Is it being bought and sold by the market? And I don't believe so. I believe it's being not bought or sold. It's just simply there. So that's what we have. Outside of that, you have we want gold to be sold like a steak, where the market controls the price, which gives it the value. So we're smart enough to realize the gold and silver aren't the real value. The stocks are being controlled. Trump's in the money. So I hate, like the guy Mark McGuire, he doesn't understand any of this. He doesn't understand it's JP Morgan controlling the gold and silver price. He doesn't understand there's no such thing as a bubble in gold and silver because they're doing it on options, and it's price fixed. How can it be a bubble when it's price fixed? I'm a little angry at Mark for having this guest on and being so, like, Mark becomes so clueless. I am noticing Mark. I think this was actually on yesterday. I thought he was doing Wednesdays. He used to do Fridays, and so he's doing a few more videos. So good for Mark. But don't have stock guys on. Why would you have a stock guy on when we know it's going to crash? So how do you value anything? Again, this gets valued by what I can sell it for. So if somebody will give me $25 for it, that's the value of it. What somebody paid as I sold it, and will I take it for $25? This thing could all of a sudden be worth $500 because all of a sudden the demand peaks up. Demand controls the price, as does supply. If they only made 20 of these and then 50 people want it, the price is going to go up. That's what you have in gold. You only have 200,000 tons, but you got demand for 5 million probably. And it's going to be much higher. So when I speak of a high gold and silver price, A, I know it's not market price. And B, I know the supply can't be increased, which then leads the demand as people realize that this is worthless, and they will, aka the Titanic. As people realize these have no value, the only answer is gold and silver. We're in a monopoly. Now the Fed's fighting it and suppressing the price, 4,700, 88.60. As they're suppressing this bullshit price, silver times 10 is 880. Gold times 10, so it's 47,000. That's the real price. Because the suppression in the real world, in the real market, why would the demand stop? Once you look at China, they got 90,000 tons now. Why would they stay? They're buying everything they can in silver also. So why the demand is not stopping? So then why would the price come down? The price only comes down when the demand stops. I'm off to the eyeglass right after this. Why would it stop? Right, it wouldn't. So that's the key factor. If you have demand and the supply does not increase, price goes up. That's the law of the jungle right there. So I can sell my Teaser King for $100 as long as people will buy it. If there's no demand for Teaser King, I might sell it for 75. If everybody's buying it, I might raise it to 150. You should be paying 500 a week, as good as I pick. So that's really the bottom line on value. It's based on the market. It's based on what people will buy and sell it for, which is a lot based on demand and supply. If the supply is short and the demand's big, if the supply is big but the demand's small, price is going down. And that's really the key. Once you get into the banks price fixing it, like JP Morgan does in oil and in gold, then you got problems because the market dictates what it's worth. If you don't use the market, you can't do it. The government cannot give you the market. The government can't say we're going to price it. That's why price fixing never works. So like you see these countries and they all go bankrupt and, oh, we're going to price fix candy bars at 50 cents. And it costs $2 to make it. So nobody makes it because they can't. The market might like to buy it for 50 cents, but the other side of the market, the producer can't produce it for 50 cents. So he can't make it because he's in business to make a profit. As the producer, you're in business to make a profit. As the consumer, we're in business is do we need it? And how many are out there? And what's a fair price for it? And that's what we're looking for. So as the consumer, we need the fair price. That's why I'm telling you to buy gold, because as this consumer, the price is way cheaper than it should be because the demand's much higher and the supply in physical is only 200,000 tons, but they're not using physical. So right now they are using paper. They're using paper to price it. And there's a lot more supply in paper, but who wants paper, gold, and silver? You want physical. That's not even a choice. That's not even an option. That's just free market. You want, sorry about that. In the free market, that's what you want. But you want a free market. You want me and you. I sell it, you buy it. I buy it, you sell it, to determine the price, which determines the value. So what is gold worth? Well, I'm arguing the value of 4,700 is not close to the real physical value. Now, as a medium of exchange, as the dollar gets printed to zero, and you have all these wars, and you have 40 trillion in debt, and they keep printing and printing and printing. So as you have that, what'll happen then? You're going to get bigger supply than demand, which is what's happened. So you had the demand from the petrodollar, but that's been gone for a year and a half now. So as everybody bought oil from Saudi Arabia in US dollars, they would then buy treasuries apparently. But they don't want treasuries anymore because they know the dollar's worthless. So they don't even care. They just assume get yuan and turn it into gold. They do their own Rumpelstiltskin. So it created this false demand for the dollar because Saudi Arabia would buy the dollars to get out of the crap dollars they got from the oil sales. So now you have what's going on. You have them going, I don't want nobody, China, Japan, they don't want the dollar. And most of it was set up by the free trade. Like, so in China, we bought all the goods from China, right? And it was very cheap. And China, oh, are these China? Okay, fine. Oh, Japanese, okay, fine. And they would take the dollars and buy treasuries with them. So it was like a Ponzi scheme, which kept the treasury market, which kept the debt down. They don't do that anymore. They dumped them all and they're buying gold instead. They go, I'd rather have gold than this. And that's what they're doing. So because they're doing that, the demand for dollars has dropped and the supply keeps going up. So now you have high supply of dollars and low demand for dollars. So what happens? The price drops because nobody wants it. And you keep printing it. You keep making chocolate chip cookies and nobody wants it. Price drops. So really that's what's happening. As the price is dropping, as you keep with the supply and the demand's dropping because they want gold, that's the end of the dollar. So we're not the petrodollar. We're not really the reserve currency anymore. It's always been gold, but they'll gloss over you and say, oh, no, it's the US dollar. It's the reserve currency. Like that means anything. And that was only because they needed the dollar to buy oil. Well, not anymore. So China's using yuan to buy from Iran, and Japan's doing it, and Korea and Vietnam and all those countries who would buy from Saudi aren't. You have this whole war where they're trying to blow up these Saudi oil fields so they don't have anything to sell anyway. The U.S. is losing the war bet, but it's the supply, right? So when you have gold and you have this short supply here, but the demand keeps growing, the price has to keep growing. Now, here's JP Morgan. What's he doing? He's raising the supply, but it's a paper supply. So as this goes up, yeah, the price starts falling in paper because you're buying the options that aren't real, that they don't have the gold. You don't have 4 million tons of physical gold for the 4 million tons of paper. So they've increased the supply. The demand's still there, but nobody wants the paper supply. They want the physical supply. So the physical point of gold is supply is down here, 200,000 tons. The demand's probably up here at probably 5-6 million tons. As this goes out and this goes out, what's going to happen to demand? Everybody's going to run for the demand for gold because you're going to have to, because you need to eat and clothe and fill your car. And I don't even know if you'll go to work. You'll need to do all that. And you'll need a medium of exchange to do it. And as you wipe the dollar out, then you turn to gold and silver as the medium of exchange. Oh, well, we all carry 10 ounces of gold and silver with us. No, I mean, the government, it's their job to print a medium of exchange, which will be a new dollar with a gold and silver stripe on it saying, hey, this is redeemable for gold and silver. That's what's supposed to happen. Now, these idiots trying to go digital and, oh, we'll make Bitcoin it. Never work. Nobody wants it. I can't use it as the medium of exchange. I can't go to Kroger's and use Bitcoin. I probably will be able to use gold and silver down the road, especially the dollars, which is what was like in the 1800s here. And it was the most successful time in the history of the world, was the whole 1800 to 1914. The whole world increased 5% productivity. Now we've been going down thanks to the idiots. Your new Fed chairman is an idiot. Oh, our productivity is the best here. And, it sounds like Trump. Oh, we're the best here. And, oh, I'm not worried about inflation and we can control the prices. And, dude, you don't even understand what inflation is. It's not prices, money printing. You made the money worthless. That isn't stopping. So there's two schools of thought here. There's ours, where we say you can't print the money, it makes the value go to zero, or you can keep printing it, which is the Keynesians, and it doesn't matter that the dollar goes to zero. Well, who's right? Well, we're right. We know we're right. It's not a question. It's absolutely we're right, because we know you can't keep printing the dollars. They will be worth zero. I kind of laughed at the Toyota manager. I said to him, so you go sell that $50,000 Tundra and you're going to get monopoly money for it. If you don't run it to change it for gold, you're fucked, because that 50,000 you're going to get for it's worthless. You kind of turn white. And I kind of just said, yep, there you go. So again, value is what the market determines the prices are. So you sell something, I buy it. And what we determine to be a fair price for both parties is the value of whatever we're talking about: gold, silver, toilet paper, tuna fish, whatever it is, the market's determining. I buy a can of tuna for $4.44. That's the value of it, $4.44. There's salmon, $13 for a pound of salmon. I buy it. That's the value of that salmon, 13. They try to sell the salmon at 25. Nobody buys it. That's not the value. So it's the mix of supply and demand, and it's the buyer and the seller. So a Mickey Mantle card that has a very low supply but a very high demand triggers. That's why you see $1 million prices. That's why you see the PSA 1 rookie card at $160,000, because the demand is so great to have a Mantle rookie card that I don't care. I just want to have it. I don't care if it's a 1, 2, or 3. And that's really the key to supply and demand and value. The more limited the supply and the higher the demand. So you're always looking, when you're buying a Rolex, a Mantle card, a Joe Burrow card for you, Nick, or Mahomes, the better the player, the more the demand. Everybody wants a Mantle card, a Mays card, a Sandy Koufax, a Clemente, a Nolan Ryan, a Pete Rose, go down the list, Michael Jordan, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. I don't know what this is, and I'm in the middle of class. So if it's real, they'll leave a message. It didn't say potential scam on it. It just gave me a number, but I'm starting to see that. We are about to hit 89 in silver and 4,700 and go. Oh, we hit it. 89.02. What a happy time. 89.02 for silver. We're right at 47 for gold. What a happy time, everybody. Grr. I'm trying to put my angel on the table, and it's a small one, and sometimes it goes right on, and sometimes it doesn't. But then I kind of shake or move the table, and it falls down sometimes. Anyway, so what you're looking to invest in are things that are very low in supply and high in demand. That's why I take you to those players. There's huge demand for them. The 1961 Maris, I have that card. It's a beautiful card. It's got to be a mint. It's got to be a 9 or a 10, hopefully a 10. But because it's 1961, it should have a good value. Now, then you get into like Barry Sanders. They printed too much. The supply's too high. The demand doesn't go over supply. So, it's $1,000. But the Montana is $100,000. And the reason is the supply of PSA 10 Montanas are very limited. The supply of PSA 10 Barry Sanders 1989 score are very high, because they corrected their quality control. So the amounts of good Barry Sanders are very strong. There's, it's very easy to get a 10 Barry. It's very hard to get a 10 Montana. It's very hard to get a 10 Jerry Rice because the centering was off. And so it was all everyone's a little left or right. The 82 Montana I bought it for $5. This is a perfect card. So I bought like 3 of them, and they're worth like $1,000 now. I'm surprised they're not higher, but those were easier to get centered. So again, it's the higher supply. The demand for Montana is still there, but the supply numbers for PSA 10 1981 rookie card are very hard to get 10 because they fucked up the centering. But that's how you want to invest. So do I want to be in stocks? Well, it's in dollars. And are we really growing? The way a stock grows is if you have more income next year. So let's say your sales are 1,000 and your revenue or your net income, which is sales minus expenses, you made $50,000. So the stock goes up if sales are going to go to 5,000 and the net income goes to 20,000, let's say, or million in this case. So if you believe the company is going to grow, the stock should go up. If you believe it won't, then the stock should go down. And I can't believe in this economy that these stocks are still going to grow. I'm calling for the collapse because all these foreigners have stocks are going to sell because they're going to want to get out of dollars and they're going to want to get into gold. And that's what you have with Germany and England and Canada and all these, Italy and France, the millionaires who are in the U.S. stock market are going to get out of it. And they're going to take $38 trillion out, which has got to hurt the value. So the market has to go down. The only reason it's not going down now is the government keeps printing money. So again, the market isn't involved. They're printing money, putting it in the stock market. Is that a real value of the stocks? No, it's not a real value. It's just like oil. It's not the real value, or gold. Gold is not the real value of gold because it's paper. And we don't have a real physical price. And this is the problem. Oh no, the COMEX, that's the physical price. Like I say, 4.2 million tons of paper gold versus 200,000 tons of physical gold. And you want to tell me that's the real price? You're out of your fucking mind. But stocks are not going to keep going up. We're in a depression here. You can't find work. At least I can't. I could go work at a Tim Hortons or something. So you can't work. Means I spend less. Prices are going up, which means you spend less because you can't just print money. Only the government can do that. So if your expenses went down because now you're getting unemployment, you're not getting a paycheck, you're not going to spend as much. You're not going to go golfing. You're not going to buy golf clubs. So they're going to have less golf club sales. Well, their stock should go down. So NVIDIA is sitting there cleverly going, oh, we got $2 trillion in sales. Bullshit. It's a lie. But he's trying to make it look like we're growing. And then everybody's in the stock, and the stock's way overvalued because we don't know the value of the company. You can say all you want, oh, I've got 2 trillion in sales of AI, but the reality is you don't. And then the reality is AI won't work. And that's really going to be a difficult thing, knowing AI is a fraud, right? Just like analytics. Go for it on 4th and 2. And all these coaches go for it on 4th and 2. And they lose. And at the end of the year, 10 coaches got fired because they went for it on 4th and 2 and lost their games instead of punting the ball deep and playing defense, which is what you should be doing. And with that, that's the problem with analytics. That's going to be the problem with AI. All AI does is read data. So it's going to look at the last 10 games of baseball and say Cincinnati does this. So AI says Cincinnati's this, that, or the other. It'll come out with whatever statistics, and they're meaningless. Was there an injury? Who did they play? All this stuff. Who pitched? And so therefore, that's the problem. They don't dig in. They just give you the raw facts, which is meaningless. If I just did that, I'd never win in football. If I just looked at the raw facts, I'd never have a winning year in football. And yet I have a winning year every year because I never use the raw facts. I always dig in and look for the angles and everything else. Look for the trends, look for the streaks. AI doesn't do that. And analytics certainly doesn't do that. So these are the problems. So this guy's saying, oh, and then everybody's stupid jumps into AI because it's the next thing. And nobody knows that it's not. They just blindly go in because they've created a world full of idiots who can't critically think. So when somebody says that to me about AI or value or Bitcoin, when somebody says it about Bitcoin, I destroy them as I did at the dealership, because I'm going, it's not real. What are you talking about? Well, it says 75,000, but it's a Ponzi scheme. It's like Madoff. He was giving 15%, but it wasn't even real. He got money in to give you the money. He never invested. It was a Ponzi scheme, and that's what you have now. You have this Ponzi scheme of these. So this is the basic problem. So again, value is determined by the market. I'm gonna sell the Joker. What will you give me? If you give me $5 for it, that's the value of this piece is $5. Isn't he adorable? I love the green here. That's it. It's worth $5 because that's what I'm willing to pay for it. It's what the market says. Now there could be multiple markets, like in artwork. That Van Gogh right there. Now that's a poster, but the real one, it could be 5 million, it could be 10 million. There could be variable markets in it. And there's many Van Gogh pictures, and they could all have different prices. That's the thing with art. There's many markets. You could sell one for 10 grand, and then the next day they get 8 grand. Next day they get 15 grand. So you don't really know what the market is. Art's a terrible thing. You're better off in baseball cards, I think, than art. But that's the key to it. So again, medium of exchange is trading your money for goods and services. I got a $10 bill. I'm going to buy $10 at the grocery store. That's the medium of exchange. How the price gets determined is between me and you going to the grocery store and saying, that's too expensive, that isn't, or on eBay, or going to the golf shop to buy golf clubs. $500, fuck you. Oh, 200, I'll buy these. Now we know the others it's too expensive and the 200 is better. So that's how value is determined, by what we're willing to pay for it. The value of a house. Can you get 500,000 with higher interest rates? Probably not. Probably going to get 300,000. I don't want to sell it for 5. And there's where the market gets sticky. Then you get to the point of, well, why did he sell it? So your $500,000 house, I come along and say, well, that's too expensive. I can't afford it. I can afford 300,000. You're the seller and you go, no, I need 5. Okay, well, good luck holding on to it. I'll look for the seller who I can buy it for 3. And that's what I highly advise baseball cards, houses, cars, whatever you're buying, to shop around. Because once you get the reason that they're selling it, I need the money. I got to get out. Somebody died and my kids moved out. I want a smaller house. And that's really the key to it, right? Why did they sell it? And that affects the value. But that's why people can't afford a $500,000 house, because with the higher interest rate. So it's going to go down to 200, 250,000. And so you shop around and then you get that house. And maybe they throw in the good washer and dryer and the good refrigerator. And that's the key to it, right? So there's many markets to a lot of things. Even at the grocery store, you can go to Kroger's and get a price. You can go to Target and get a price. You go to Meijer's, get a price. Walmart, get a price. Sam's Club, get a price. And they're all going to be different. I know when I go to my Bush's, my meat grocery store, I never buy anything. That my Ken's dressing that is $2.99 at Meijer's is $4.50 at Bush's. I have no idea how they're in business, because how are they competing? It's ridiculous. Anyway, so that's kind of what you do. You shop around and you get the reason. Oh, I'm selling because I lost my job and I need money. Well, then you can really take advantage of that as a buyer. But it's hard to get when you're dealing in houses. It's really hard to get the value of it. Yeah, I can buy it for 400 grand, but 6 months later, it might be worth 300 grand. I lost my job. I need to sell it. And so to get a real value is a little bit difficult. However, in gold and silver, we always go back to that because you could have the reason I need the money, but then you just sell an ounce and that's all you're doing. All right, 4703. Happy times. And 8903. Let's see a $90 silver again. Funny how it was 71 just a couple of weeks ago, and now it's back to 90. What's the real price of silver? Is it 71? Is it 89? No, it's about 850 is the real price of the physical, not this COMEX bullshit paper price. So we're smart enough to recognize this is a bullshit price, but we're also smart enough to realize salmon at the grocery store, and he's selling it for $13, $14, is what you can get it for. So the values determine what we buy and sell for. And the more supply lowers the price, the less supply. So my supply of dark chocolate has gone down, so my price has gone up. I just won't buy it. I'm not paying $6, $7 for dark chocolate because there's a cocoa shortage. I won't do it. Sorry, I just won't eat it. Right? I'll eat my apple instead, and my honey and my cinnamon before I'll eat the dark chocolate. It's too expensive. It's over market. So maybe I have to pay that because that's what the market bears because the supply's down, but I'm demanding dark chocolate. Then I would pay $7 because supply went down, just like oil and reverse of gold. Gold, the supply cannot go down, and the demand is huge, and that's what caused it. That's why you should never have a drop in the market. You see gold down 100, you're like, what the fuck? It's impossible for gold to go down 100 because that would mean either we found more supply of gold, which we didn't, or the demand for gold went down, which it didn't. And that's what BRICS is doing. BRICS is putting up a huge demand for gold because they know the dollar is worthless. They know all the dollars. It's like the Austrian economists all went to Russia and China. I think more China. And they realized that the dollar's worthless. And the only way to survive is gold and silver because you can't print it. So the supply can never go up in physical gold and silver. Well, maybe they find a little gold mine here and there, and there's 5 tons of gold they find or 10 tons of gold, but it's not enough to really move it because the demand is huge. So keep that in mind. So we're in gold and silver because the supply of dollars is too high and it's not going down, and they keep printing every month. So the supply is way too high, and therefore the value of the dollar is worthless. And therefore you're holding $100,000. You go, shit, it's worthless. What do I get into? And I get into gold and silver, physical, not ETFs, not stocks, not options. I play the physical game. Most people don't even realize there's a paper and a physical. So now I'm in it as protection, and then I'm watching it go up because there's no other game in town. We found the monopoly, and we're on the right side of the monopoly, and the monopoly is being kept down by JP Morgan. Thank you when we want to buy. And that's really the key to it, right? So we're actually on the right side of a monopoly with gold and silver, and it's just going to keep going up, and it can't go out because you can't print it. You can't counterfeit it. You take a magnet. If the magnet doesn't work, it's fake. That's not gold, and it doesn't affect it. So once we get a real price, what it should be, so to say it's in a bubble is ridiculous. Anyway, so that's it for that part of the class. Let's go to, first let's look at yesterday's baseball. We had a big day yesterday. All right, let's start. Cleveland over 8.5 is a loser. They 3-2. Not a lot of hitting in Cleveland. They're pretty much an under team. Pittsburgh, we have Scanes at minus 316. We go 3 units. They win 3-1. Scanes gets the win. Happy times. Cincinnati over 10. We have Washington winning 10-4, which goes over 10. I love that because we don't care who wins. We just want a lot of runs. So we don't care that Cincinnati lost. We just want a lot of runs. Tampa Bay plus 112. They win 7-6 in 12 in 10 innings over Toronto. A little closer than it should have been, but we got the win. The Mets over the Tigers. We have the Mets minus 139, and they win 10-2. Joe Flaherty sucks, and we're going to keep betting against him. We have Atlanta over 8.5, and they don't hit. They win 5-2 against the Cubs. I'm kind of surprised. We did not have really strong pitching going here, and they both can hit pretty well. So I was surprised 5-2. So that is a loser. Miami, we did not bet. We said over 9, no bet, and Minnesota beat them 3-0, and that's why there was no bet, because obviously there's weak pitching, and yet they still only get 3 runs. Milwaukee minus 126, and the Brewers won 6-4 over San Diego. 126, 3-unit play there. Texas over 8. I did not bet. They win 7-4 over Arizona because I'm worried about their hitting, but apparently they're hitting better. Seattle minus 162. Was that Ric Flair? I think. Seattle wins 10-2. We were minus 162 on that one. And our last game was the Dodgers over 8.5, and they lose 6-2. So they get an 8, 8.5. So let's add it up. Minus 2 units, plus 3 units is plus 1, plus 2 is plus 3, plus 5, plus 7, plus 5, plus 8, plus 10, plus 8. So we had a plus 8 in baseball. Seems to be my average. I'm winning 5-8 just about every night, even though I'm playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. I had 3 3-units, Pittsburgh with Scanes. I had Milwaukee. Those 2 won, and the Dodgers lost. And the rest were 2 units. So it's a couple that I'm going higher on, I am winning. So that was yesterday. In the NBA, we played one game. There was only one, San Antonio. San Antonio minus 9. We played it for 3 units. We knew Winnebago would be pissed out of getting thrown out. It was a cheap bullshit call. Never should have been called, and it was obviously fixed because a lot of people bet on San Antonio. So they, of course, lose, and the bookies, Vegas cleans up because it was a fixed game. So, again, they fixed it. So I knew San Antonio would be pissed. Winnebago comes in, and they win by 30 points, 29 points, 126-97. We're laying 9, easy W. Today, one game, Cleveland at Detroit. Detroit's 3.5, 212.5. What do we do with this game? We know Detroit stinks. Cleveland can't win on the road, but really, who did they play? They're the 4 seed. They played the 5 seed Toronto and lost the 3 games in Toronto. And they lost the first 2 in Detroit. Now they've got, now it's a game 5. They've got the 2 wins against Detroit in Cleveland, so they know a little bit better how to beat them. More confident. What do we do? Really, Detroit's got the back against the wall. What does that mean, Howard? They're 2-2. Because if they lose and they go down 3-2, Cleveland wins at home and they win the series. So Detroit has to keep it where they're not, so much involved with it. So Detroit has to win, or they go down 3-2 at Cleveland, 4-2. The series is over. So they got to win. Cleveland wins game 6. the best scenario for us is Detroit wins. Cleveland now faces elimination. We put a big bet on Cleveland in Game 6, and then depending on the spread, depends who we play. I don't buy that Cleveland can't win on the road, but so tonight I'm going to take Detroit minus 3.5. I'm only going to go 1 unit. I really don't trust them. Cleveland, I don't know that they can guard whatchamacallit on Cleveland. I don't know many of their names. I can't follow it too much. But what was the guy's name? Washington or on Cleveland, the guy who scored a lot. So that's what we have. It's a small number, 3.5. Would I be surprised if Cleveland won? No. Would I have been surprised if Minnesota beat San Antonio yesterday? Absolutely. Because the series was tied at 2. It's the same thing. If San Antonio loses, they go to Minnesota, they lose the series. So they had to win the series. And Winnebago was going to be pissed. So there you go. So San Antonio yesterday was 3 units, but Detroit, I'm just going 1 unit. Lane 3.5. They have to win. Again, at home, the role players play better than on the road. So we're going to go with that. That's 8 o'clock on ESPN, so the game's not on TV, which really sucks. Oh, I'm supposed to go get ESPN. Yeah, that's not happening. I have no desire to get ESPN. So we talked baseball last night, so now let's talk baseball tonight. May 13th. We got fuck. So first, let's look at the streaks. Now, as far as I can see, I think it's Milwaukee and Houston because I did look at this last night. Milwaukee's on a winning streak and Houston's on a losing streak. The Yankees were on they were on a winning streak, then they were on a losing streak, and now they're back on a winning streak. All right, so let's look at it. I'm going to go 4 and over. And four-game losing streak, Houston. National League. A couple of 3-gamers, 5-game winning streak, Milwaukee. And in the West, 4-game losing streak for LA. I'll put that on there, but I hate to bet against them. We'll see. We'll check the pitching. So we got to go to covers to get the pitchers. On my laptop, I can see the pitchers on YouTube, but on my cell phone, I can't for some reason. Really, it's the bizarro world. All right, so we got Milwaukee, bet against Houston, and maybe the Dodgers. And today's 5/13. And let's go. Flux capacitor fluxing. May 13th, but it's not Friday the 13th. It's Wednesday the 13th. We got the Yankees minus 157, 8.5. Max Fried, 295 against Bradish, 483. And we start off with the very easy one. We'll take the Yankees minus 157. We'll go 3 units. We got Max Fried, 295, Bradish with the 5 ERA. So should be all Yankees. I'm surprised it's only 157. California and Cleveland. We got Cleveland minus 148 and 7. Detmers 440 for California. Messick a 230 for Cleveland. Total of 7. I can't go 7 with Detmers. I had Cleveland over 8, went under. So I'm gonna take Cleveland here, minus 148, 2 units. Again, I let the bets present themselves. I do not pre-program anything. Pittsburgh 174, 8.5. Quintana with the 3.90 for Colorado. So Colorado's at Pitt. They're going to play the Steelers. Denver and Pittsburgh. And then Keller with the 2.87 ERA. 3.90. Pitt can hit. Colorado, I don't think hits too much, but Pitt hits. It's got 4 or 5 good hitters. I got to get a little bit more lefty righty, so I should know Pitt's righty hitting versus Pitt's lefty hitting, which I will focus on. What I don't like is the managers are too quick to pinch hit. So you got a 300 hitter, and he's a lefty, and he hits the first 2 times up, and he gets 2 hits, and then they put a lefty out, and he automatically goes to the righty who's hitting 097, and of course he strikes out. And of course you're going, why the fuck would you pinch hit your 300 hitter? And that's why you have a lot of managers getting fired, because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So here, Keller, Quintana, I got Pittsburgh's offense. I'm going to go Pitt under, and I'll tell you the reason. Skanes beat them like 3-1 or something like that. So Colorado is not going to hit. Pitt under 8.5, 2 units. After you face Skanes, you're not going to hit the next couple of games. You're so fucked up because you struck out 3 times that it's going to be hard. And here's Keller with the 2.87, so he should dominate. Quintana 3.90, but I don't want to take Pitt here. I think the total is too high at 8.5. If it was 7.5, I probably would go. I probably would not take the total, but in this case, I'm going under because it's 8.5. Washington and Cincinnati. At Cincinnati minus 156, 9.5. Irvin 5.31 for Washington, a pig. Lododo, a bigger pig for Cincinnati, 7.20. We went over yesterday and it won. We're going to go over today, and hopefully it wins. 2 units. Cincy over 9.5. They got a lot of hitting. Seems like a small ballpark where there's a lot of home runs. Philly goes to Boston. We got Boston minus 129 and 9. Painter for Philly with an 8 ERA against Sonny Gray, who had a 10 ERA, but now has been pitching better and it's down to 3.54. Boston's kind of a weak team. This total at 9 seems high. I can't bet Painter with his 8 ERA, and so I'm going to leave this game alone. Philly's not as strong yet. We know they got the good hitting, but they're not hitting yet. They don't have Ranger Suarez. Painter, I'm not betting on at 8, which leaves me with the total. I don't want to bet against Philly. So it's either over or under. It seems like an over in the fact Painter's got an 8 ERA. And Boston should hit, and Philly will hit Sonny Gray because Schwarber and Bryce Harper are lefties, should actually play the game and hit. But I'm gonna watch this game. Tampa Bay and Toronto. Toronto at Toronto, 142, 7.5. Jax for Tampa with a 2.0 ERA against Dylan Cease, our man, 2.60. Let's see if Jax has pitched a little bit. And he's pitched a lot. And he goes, he's a phony. He's a bullpen guy. So I don't care what his ERA is. He's a phony. So we're going to go Toronto and Dylan Cease minus 142 and 2. Dylan Cease is like Ric Flair. It's like Chris Sale, 2.6 ERA. You bet on him. In this case, we would bet the under, but Jax is a phony. He's a bullpen guy, so his low ERA, he's only going to pitch 2 innings. And then who are we going to get? So we'll go Toronto. Detroit at the Mets. Detroit, terrible team. I can't believe Framber Valdez is allowed to pitch after hitting the guy. I thought he was out 6 games. It should be 6 starts. I mean, pitchers and fielders, you have to have different frames here. The Mets are minus 107 and 8. Valdez 4.6 against Scott with a 3.27. I'm going to go Jets, Jets, minus 107, 2 units. Does Fireman, they all go to the Mets games and do the Met thing instead of the Jet thing? I'm really betting against the Tigers as Valdez is screwed up in the head. He's not that good anyway. Scott, 327, not loving him, but the Mets did pound it. I think Detroit's got a lot of problems, a lot of injuries, bad management. They don't know what they're doing. The Cubbies go to Atlanta. I was shocked that this game did not go over 8.5 yesterday. The Cubbies are minus 129, 8.5 in Atlanta. Amana Naga with a 2-3-0 for the Cubbies against Richie 3-7-1 for Atlanta. I'm going to go Cubbies. I'm thinking under. My gut instinct is under also. I don't know, Richie 3-7-1. I don't trust the Cubbies. They didn't get over 8.5 yesterday. So let's go Cubs minus 129, 2 units. Nothing's sticking out at me at a 3, 4, 5 unit play. So I'm not making it just to make it. KC goes to the White Sox. The game's in Chicago. KC's actually a 106 favorite with an 8 total. Seth Lugo, 326, who let us down last game against Nick Schultz with a 4.68 ERA. He's the new guy brought up in the minors. Seth Lugo, total of 8. Too much insecurity here. Too much, I'm not sure, so I'm not betting it. Miami goes to the Vikings. Miami minus 119, 8.5. M. Meyer, 279 for Miami. Woods Richardson, who really stinks, 692. We will go Miami and minus 119, 2 units. So if you notice, I don't look at the odds. I look at the pitcher, I look at the streaks, and I go, yeah, Miami here, good pitcher, Minnesota bad pitcher, and I'm going to bet Miami. I don't get the statistics into it. The only thing I'm looking at is ERA. And I know how the team's playing because I'm watching the results. Here's our first trend is Milwaukee. They get the ace against ace. Milwaukee minus 148 and a total of 7. San Diego M. King with the 2.80 ERA goes against Mizorowski. He threw 104 last game, 2.45 ERA. Well, first of all, Milwaukee's on the streak. So we got to bet Milwaukee minus 148, and we'll go 2 units. And then we got to bet Milwaukee under 7, 2 units. So they're there. They present themselves. If there wasn't a streak, I don't know if I'd bet Mizorowski at 148. But when I look at King 280 and Mizorowski 245, you ain't scoring runs in this game, fellas. So that forces the pitching matchup forces the under, the streak forces Milwaukee. I'll go 2 units on both. Okay. Arizona at Texas. This was high scoring, I believe. Yeah, over 8. Texas minus 105 and 8. We got Riley Nelson, 5.68 for Arizona, and K. Rocker, 5.06 for Texas. We are going over Texas, over 8. We're going to go 3 units on this game. It went over last night. It went over 8. Both teams are hitting. Both pitchers suck. So this is a very good. This is probably our best play right now, over 8. Seattle at Houston. Houston's on the streak. We're going to go Seattle. We're going to go minus 124. We're going to go 2 units. Seattle minus 124, 9 games in Houston. B. Miller, who's got a 0, goes against McCullers, 7-4-1. So A, we're betting against McCullers, 7-4-1. B, we're betting against Houston on the 4-game losing streak. And C, we don't care about Miller. What's he going to pitch, 2-3 innings? So we'll go Seattle there again, going against the streak. St. Louis goes against Oakland. We got Oakland minus 139 and 10 total. Wow. We got Libertari for St. Louis, 407 against Gin, 3.3 for Oakland. I can see why the over is 10. I think St. Louis is the better team here. They're 24-17, Oakland 21-20. So St. Louis is hitting the ball well. It's kind of an even game. I probably like St. Louis as the dog in this game. I don't know. I'm not afraid of Gin with the 3-3. Let's go St. Louis for 1 unit, plus 128. They're a live dog. In our last game, 49ers against the Rams in LA. The Rams have lost 4 in a row, and yet the Rams are minus 229 and 7.5. We got Robbie Ray with a 280 for the Niners, and we got Shotani with, I don't know, it's probably a 2. It's not 0.97. That's bullshit. Let's see. It's hard to get a game log on him because it's all the hitting he does. You're more looking at the at-bats than the pitching. Oh, here's pitching. So it gives us his pitching by a year. 6 games. He's 2-2, 0.97, 37 innings, 21 hits, 6 runs. So it's over 1, but I don't have the game recaps where I can see what he pitched. So if I look at this 37 innings in 6 games, so it's 6 innings a game is 36. And he gives up 21 hits, divided by 6 is 4. So he's giving up 4 hits a game and basically 1 run a game. He's giving up 6 runs, 9 walks, 40 strikeouts, 2 home runs. I'm not impressed with Shotani. So minus 229. They're on a bad streak. Robbie Ray's okay at 280. I think we go under with this one. LA under 7.5. We'll go 2 units. I think this is an under. If Shotani does what he does and Ray with 2 low ERAs, you're not going to get a lot of runs. The Dodgers are losing. I was over 8.5. They only got to 8 yesterday. I don't see them hitting Shotani too much. What I don't like is if Shotani gets pulled out of the game, he goes to DA. No. He's out of the game. Like every other pitcher who gets pulled, he's out of the game. So I really hate this Shotani rule. Well, Shotani gets to play because the crowd wants to see him. What a bunch of bullshit. Well, Shotani pitching, he shouldn't be able to hit too much today because he's pitching. Anyway, I think the 229 is way too high. If I was going to bet, I would take the Niners plus 206. But I think the under is the better play at 7.5. All right, let's review. Jesus Christ, a ton of games. We got the Yankees minus 157. That's a 3 unit. 2 unit. Cleveland minus 148. Pitt under 8.5. Cincinnati over 9.5. Toronto with Gausman pitching. The JETS's 2 units. The Cubbies 2 units. Miami 2 units. Milwaukee 2 units. Milwaukee under 7 2 units. Texas over 8 3 units. Seattle 2 units. St. Louis 1 unit, and the Dodgers under 7.5 2 units. Your strength. We took Milwaukee on the streak minus 148 2 units. They're on the winning streak. On the losing streak is Houston, and we took Seattle there. I believe that's who they're playing. So we took Seattle to win based on them losing. So there's only 2 streaks, Houston, and then LA. Not that I like Shotani, but I think that Robbie Ray, it just is more of an under game. 2 pitchers in the under 3 ERAs, and I think you just have to play it like that. God, I need new ones. I'm trying to bend the back. I picked up my computer. My glasses are on it. So I reached for my glasses and I started to bend them. And I'm like, I didn't think I could bend them. So anyway, that's what's happening. So that's your long list of baseball. Basketball, we got to take Detroit -3.5. They're at home. I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland won. We're only making it 1 unit. That's it. Now, I heard some idiot on the Detroit talk show say that LeBron James was the best player that ever played. I almost drove my car off the road. I think he does it to get the conversation, to get the emotion. It's all bullshit. There's no way he's the best player ever. It's funny how nobody says Wilt was the best player ever. He was by far the best player ever. He dominated the sports. Oh, there was no centers. Bullshit. Lanier, Kareem near the end. He had the guy on the Knicks, Bill Russell. He was pretty good. So what do you mean there wasn't any big guys around him? So he was the best player that ever played was Wilt Chamberlain. Then you got the second place, Kareem, Dr. J, Magic Bird, Jordan, Isaiah. Isaiah is one of the most underrated players. He's 6'1", 6'2", lightning fast guard, could play. He was the best defensive player. He could shoot, he could pass, and he led a team with Bill Laimbeer to win basically 2 titles in a row, which should have been 3 because of the fake foul on Laimbeer on Kareem. If they don't call that foul, Kareem misses the skyhook. Pistons win the championship, and then they won the next 2. Now, maybe they wouldn't have won the next 2 if they won that one, because you know how teams get flat. So let's say they would have won 2. They would have won the next year because Magic pulled his hamstring. But those are the best players, right? To say LeBron in this era is the best player that ever played is the stupidest comment. It just makes the guy look like an idiot. And he's doing it to get the, what do you mean he's the best player? Jordan's the best player. Magic's the best. So that's the problem. When he does that, it's bullshit. And that's why I hate listening to talk radio. But there's no way in hell LeBron's in the top 20. What did he do? I mean, you can't touch him. The whole league's changed. There's absolutely, he's just a big guy. He's not all that. They make him an all-star just to say, hey, LeBron's an all-star, like to try to draw interest in it. See, it's like curved here. I curve my glass. I'm scared to go too much and break it. You can see the metal piece, I think, Pat. Anyway, I'm off for new glasses after. I've needed them for a while, but my vision's still good. So anyway, to say Brady's better than Montana is stupid. Montana winning the way he did with Dwight Clark and no running back, the first beating the Dallas. Brady never did anything close to that. When he won, there was really no good teams until he ran into Baltimore with Ray Lewis and Pittsburgh. Excuse me. That's when he struggled, right? Oh, he beat Carolina. He beat some really weak teams, and he barely won. But was Brady a great quarterback? Yes. Is he better than Montana? No fucking way. You go watch the 84 championship against the 84 Bears and that defense, and I think they win 24-0. And then he beats Lawrence Taylor one year. The 87 game, he got crushed by Jim Burt and never woke up a week later. But that's how it was. Parcells says, get him out of the game. If we want to win, we got to get Montana out of the game. That's how good Montana was. Now you can't touch them. They all wear dresses, and it's all pussy games. So it's unfortunate, but that's why you can't really compare. If Brady had to go against Lawrence Taylor in the 84-85 Beer defense, he wouldn't have won any Super Bowls. So keep that in mind. My fridge isn't that loud. I can live with it like that. Maybe when I open up the freezer, maybe I moved something off that was making it sound worse. I don't know, but this I can live with. This isn't too bad. Last night it was really loud. I was freaking out. I couldn't even. It was like hard to watch TV, get on the phone. So this is doable. Always problem solving. So I'm probably solving gold and silver. I think I problem solved it pretty well to you. I think you understand what the medium of exchange is. I think I problem solved that pretty well. I think I problem solved the value, which is what me and you determine something's worth. There's the seller and the buyer, and when they agree on the price, that's the value of the item. A Mantle card. Let's take a look at our eBay shopping list for a while. We haven't had fun like this in a while. Let's check the Dow. And the Dow's down 170. It's not even worth looking at. It's talk about a Madoff number, the Dow at 49.5. That what they're saying is that the economy is growing and will grow. Well, you have a dollar that isn't worth anything. So explain how the economy is going to grow when your dollar's worthless. Like I said, $100,000 is worth 1,000 now. So how is your economy growing? Explain that one to me. All right. So there we have a 1 ounce gold, and it's 4,900. So we're getting back. But let's look at our list. We have a watch list where we keep some of them. So a tenth of an ounce maple leaf is 521. So it's about $600 for a tenth of an ounce, which isn't bad. I was paying $200, $150 for them. Here's the Brady card I have. It's a rookie card. It's a Bowman Chrome refractor. It's 165,000, and this is graded. This is graded mint, not even a 10. So imagine what a 10 is. Mine's so you can see the centering is not an issue, and the corners aren't. It's just the face gets a little scratched because it's a refractor, and that's the only problem. But yeah, you can see Bowman Chrome rookie, and I's got it. It's my precious. So that's 165,000 for a 9, which means there's a lot that are scratched or whatever. There wasn't a lot produced, but I don't know what the number is, but it doesn't seem to matter. This guy for a 9 is getting 165. Here's a quarter ounce Cougaran, 1268. So the tenth of an ounce is 521, and yet the quarter ounce is 1268, which is about right because a tenth and a tenth is not a quarter ounce, it's 0.2. This is 0.25. So that's a general what you can get. Again, this is a Cougaran. Here you can see an Eagle will get you 1309 versus the 1268. So you're getting about 1,300 for a quarter ounce. So you might go sell a couple. I don't know what they are at the store. They have a different. They kind of divide. If like I brought a quarter ounce, and the ounce is going for 5,000, they'll give me 1,250 for a quarter ounce because they'll just divide it by 4, even though it's really worth a little more. Rolex, 820,000 for the Rolex Sky Dweller. I believe there is diamonds in there. 820,000, yeah, with diamonds. So you're paying for the watch, white gold, and the diamonds. I prefer gold, like white chocolate. You got to be kidding. Here's a Montana rookie card, 79.5 for a 10. I've seen them here. I've seen them at 100. I've seen them at 120. So as I say, there's different markets for it. It's not just one market, one pro. Oh, it's 100,000. That's it. It depends on the market. Here's another Tom Brady rookie card, and this is numbered out of population 10. So if we go into this card, and we see on the side here, number 5 of 10. They only made 10 of these, which means it's extremely limited. And it is a PSA 10. It's a Dunros Elite. And it's going for $10 million, which makes sense. It's Brady, big demand, and there's only 10. Now, that's probably what you get in a Mantle rookie. If you were to even get a 9, you're probably looking at 10 Mantle rookies that are PSA 9. You probably have no PSA 10s. You probably have very few 8s and 9s, right? So maybe you have 10 cards graded higher than a PSA 8 in the Mantle rookie 1951 tops, I believe. And that's why it's value. It's very limited. There's only made 10. It's a perfect card. It's a PSA 10. So if you get something that's highly demanded and very low in supply, and I mean very low, that's how you get 10 million. It's funny, it's been 5 and 6 million, but I don't have millions of dollars to buy it. Now here's a half ounce Eagle 2556, which is basically double of the quarter ounce, which makes sense. 2 quarter ounces make a half. When I was buying a lot earlier, when I actually had money to buy gold and silver, I would do the math. So he'd have gold quarters and halves, and if I added up the quarter ounces, and let's say they were 400 each, but then he's 900 on the half ounce, I would buy the 2 quarter ounces and say, I'm still getting a half ounce, but I'm only paying 800 for it, not 900 for the half ounce. I never understood why he did that. So I would buy 2 quarter ounces over the half ounce. Sometimes I'd buy the half ounce because it made sense that it was 800 and the 2 quarter ounces were 450. So I'm paying 900 or I can pay 8. So it depended on how he priced it. Here's the 1 ounce at about 4,900. A tenth of an ounce Krugerrand, 519. That's okay. Now let's have some fun. Walter Payton rookie card. This is not PSA 10, 100 grand. It is not PSA 10. For some reason, PSA 10 versus CSA is a whole different ballgame. So you can see this is not PSA. It received a mint, but the PSA 10's gem mint. Let's see if I can read that. So it's a little out of focus. Edges 10, surface 9, centering 10, corners 9. So you have to be very careful. So is the card centered? How are the corners? How is the edges? And how is the surface? Those are the 4 things. So if you go to a card show and you see this card and you see it centered, and mine's centered, and then you look at the corners are sharp and the edges are sharp, and on the surface, is there any scratches or ink marks, anything taking away? And so anyway, this one is 100 grand. But again, this is not PSA. PSA might be 500 grand. I don't know if I've seen a PSA 10 Payton in a while. It was 150 grand. But again, this is not PSA. And if you're going to get your card graded, it's PSA. And here's our buddy Jerry Rice, PSA. Now, see, it's PSA 10. Jerry Rice, nice center, 82,000. Now, again, the centering, you can see is a little bit left to right, a little thicker where his jersey is than where his face is. Up and down, pretty equal. And again, so they're looking at the corners, the edges, the centering, and is there any scratches on the front? Those are your 4 markers. So here's 82,000 Rice. Here's our 65 tops mantle, $60,000 for a PSA 9. If this was a PSA 10, you add at least 1 0 to it, if not 2. Haven't seen a PSA 10 65 mantle, but you can see it's mantle. It's a 9 and it's mantle and it's 60,000. All right, here we go. This is the Mickey Mantle rookie card, 1952 tops, 311. Look how bad it is. PSA 4. So it's a 4. It's scratched. It's bent. It's off-centered. $280,000 just because it's a mantle rookie, because the demand is there. This is a 4, which is a nothing. If you saw, if I ever see a 9 or a 10, I'll definitely tell you it's in the millions, right? Because how many 10s of this card do you think exist? It's a 52 tops. How many? Nobody kept them in containers and kept them in mint conditions. And the only way it's mint if somebody kept some packs that were not open. And here comes 1990, and we're going back to the future, and they bring it in the DeLorean, and we open the pack, and now it's mint. I mean, that's about the only way. So people aren't looking at condition in the 50s. And this is where, if I'm going back to the future in our movie, we're going back to 1952, and we're going to buy as many Mickey Mantle cards as we can get our hands on. And then we come back to today, and we get it graded by PSA, and we're multimillionaires. That's what I would do back to the future. Fuck Biff and Doc and all those other idiots. No. So anyway, I do not have this card. I probably saw it. It was probably $5,000, and I probably just shrugged, going, well, why would I spend that? If you ever see this card at a show, 52 tops, number 311, and you can get it for under $10,000, get it. Because even if it's a PSA 1, which I think I had, it's still like 70,000. And a PSA 1's nothing. That's just getting the card graded. Your card's going to get some grade. Jordan's second-year card, 32,000. PSA 10, which is hard. The 87 flare was not quite as off-center as the 86 flare. But I found that one. I don't know. Did I find an 86? Here's an 86. No, what is that? I think that's also an 87. Yeah. And now we go to 87. 86. Here's the 86. Jordan rookie, 35,000. Is this real? This can't be real. Oh, wait, it's a 9. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, the 10s go for like 500,000. So this is a 9, and it gets 35,000. And these are very hard to get centered. I know I got about 20 of them, and it was the only centered one I got is Elijah one. Most of them are a little off-center, but not terrible. And I'm sure they'd get it. Here's an 87 Flair Larry Bird, 20,000. It's a PSA 10. Again, very hard to get with the centering. And here you go. Here's our Mantle rookie, 3.5 PSA. The other one was a 4. 3.5, $200,000 for a rookie Mantle. Only a 3.5. So it's a nothing. The card's ding. The corner's not. got only a 3.5, $200,000. It's all the player, the demand for the Mano card with the supply of very little in the 52 tops. So if you see a card at a show and it's fairly decent condition and it's authentic, we know it's a 52 tops and not one of these 1997, bullshit, which they normally say 1997 on it. So if we look at this one, okay, so if we see, this is the back of the card. I hate when it flips on me. Okay, so this is the back of the card. So see how it looks. Fuck. See how it looks. Why does it do that? I'm trying to look for the date. It doesn't really have a 1961 date on it. So I can't tell you this is 1961. It normally has a year on it. So if you got one of those 1997, they do the Mano spread, it will say it'll say 1997 printed in it. Here's a 3.5 Mano, and it's going for 300,000. So it doesn't take a lot to be a 3.5. So if you're at a show and you see one of these and it's a couple $1,000, it's the steal of the century. All right, so 199 for a 3.5 and 296 for a 3.5. That's your Mano rookies. So I do have this card and Magic's in the 87 flare and the 86 flare. So Bird's well undervalued. Should be much higher. So keep that in mind. Let's look what our 1 ounce silver is going. 1 ounce Silver Eagle is going for can I just get a fucking Silver Eagle? They have these colored ones. I'm not interested. Here's an MS-70. I'm not interested. Just give me a fucking Eagle. Here you go. So the Eagle's 103. And you're wondering, well, wait, it's 89 now, but you can see the premium because they're very limited in supply because Chinese have most of them and the Russians, that just to get the silver coins, it's very limited. So it's you're getting 103, and this is random year, so it's not like a 2026. So this is any year, $103. That's what an ounce of silver is valued at on eBay. The store, they're going to look at COMEX a little bit more. Here's a nice one, a lot of 20. We got 15 of these, 1,800. I'm not selling any of them. Okay, this has to be a fake. A lot of 5 1-ounce Silver Eagles. This is bullshit. These are going for 15. This is $15 a piece when it should be $100 a piece. This should be 500. This is a red flag. This is a scam. And so if we look at it, a lot of 5 for 74, but here's a lot of 5 for 468. This is more like it. This is $80 times 5 is 4. This is about $90, $95 an ounce. That's what it should be. This you know is real, and this you know is bullshit. Nobody's selling Eagles at $74 for 5 when you can get easily $90 a coin. And 95 would not be a stretch. Let's call it 100. So you should be paying 500. If you're going to pay 75 and you think they're real, I got an oceanfront property here in Michigan. Hi, Nick. Yeah, I'm taking the Pistons tonight. Very small. I really want to bet the next game, game 6, because game 6, if Cleveland's down 3-2, it's a lock. We'll take Cleveland. If Detroit loses and is down 3-2, then we got to take Detroit in game 6. We got to bet the loser back in game 6. So we hope Detroit wins, but I don't have a lot of confidence in it because now Cleveland kind of knows how to match up with them. But let's say they win, then we're going to really jump on Cleveland in game 6. Just like we jumped on San Antonio yesterday. So here you see, these are real. 468 for 5, 480 for 5. This is what you would expect real silver. Here, $100. That's the value of the silver in paper. This is a steal to buy because you know this isn't the real price. This is the paper COMEX price. And you know how much bullshit this is in COMEX? So I did my handy dandy math, and I got this off of Google. Physical silver is 76,400,000 tons of paper silver versus 1.2 million of physical. So these idiots are printing 76.4 million tons that don't, 75 million that don't exist. How can this be? We know it's not legal. How can this be going on that you're selling paper ounces, you're selling paper tons, and there's no physical to back it up? How can this can't be legal? I'm selling paper shit. It's just bullshit. And that's why but see, we've problem solved it. And we said, wait a minute, if you just had 1 million tons of silver, the price cannot be what it is for 76 million. When they short the price, it went from 120 to 110 to 100, down to 80, down to 71. We even saw it at 61. How can it possibly go down? The supply didn't go up. The paper supply went up, but not the physical supply, and that's the problem. We're pricing it in paper, not in physical. And what I'm doing is pricing it in physical. Well, I just see 1 million tons, and if there's just 1 million tons of silver, that price has to be, well, like now 76 times more. So if we really did it right, and there's 76 million tons of paper silver to 1 million, that's 76. So times 80, what are we at? 89, make it 90, take 90 times 76, and that's the real price of physical gold. not this bullshit 90, because that's paper. And as I just showed you, supply and demand, that 10 count Brady card is $9 million. But if you did it on COMEX and they did derivatives and options on that Brady card, it'd be selling for, 200,000. And you go, how? There's only 10. Well, there's 10, there's physical 10, but paper, there's a million of them. Well, okay, so you buy the option, you go, well, I'd like the Brady card. Well, I don't really have it. There's only 10 of them. You just bought paper. You just got Ponzi. You got Madoff. Because I don't really have the Brady card. I'm just doing options. How can you do 100 options? They only made 10 cards. And of that, are they even found out of the pack yet? I know there's a lot of cards that you probably are there, but I bought the Iserman 1 of 1. I showed you that. I bought that at a trade show. And I was looking, there was a Jaeger for one, I could have got for 175. And then I saw the Iserman for about 175. I said, this is crazy. It's 101. I'll take the Iserman over the Jaeger, which I'm not sure was the right move, but I probably should have bought them both. But I wasn't comfortable spending $200-300 on cards yet, because back in the late 90s, you just didn't, you would look at Beckett and they weren't graded. And it really wasn't like the 9s and 10s really started getting graded in the late 90s. So you just sat there and going, wow, these cards they're not going to be worth, the Mantle card's not going to be worth $10 million. So you would think, and so you would just not pay that much for it. I paid $100 for my Montana rice, $100 for the rice. I don't think I paid $55 for Montana rookie, our Marino rookie, and El Rey rookie, and that bird card I showed you, I probably paid $30 for. Now, we made sure they were mint condition. We made sure they were centered. If they weren't centered, we didn't buy it. I have a beat up Koufax card that I got really cheap. I got for like $5, and then I got the real mint one. I couldn't have paid more than $75, $80. All those 65 tops that I got, I paid very little for. I didn't. The Mano was probably $200, which I can kick myself, because if I would have found a 10 Mano, oh my God, what that would be worth for $500. Because the dealers didn't care about condition. They didn't understand it. So the dealers would not look at condition. They would just strictly got the card, right? And they'd get the card and they'd go to Beckett, and here's a 65 Mano, and it would say $500 without being a 7, 8, 9, or 10 condition, and 500. And I'd go, well, what's your best price? I really want to buy it. And you go $450. And I go, okay, here you go. So for $450, I could have got that $60,000 Mantle card, or maybe a PSA 10 that's worth $1 million. But I never, but because the dealer would never change for the condition, right? So they didn't go, well, this Mantle looks like a 10. I'm going to sell it for much higher. It's a 9, and this 61 Maris, it looks really nice. It's a 10. I got the 61 Maris for $25. In Beckett was like a PSA 8 price, but the dealer, there'd be a buy and a sell. So let's say it was $65. I could get it for $35, even though if it's a PSA 10, and I think my Maris is, thing's worth, I don't even know how, it's worth a couple $100,000. You've got to price it differently based on supply. So the supply of a PSA 10 Mantle card versus a PSA 9 versus a PSA 8, there's just far fewer 10s than 9s and 8s. And that's why the Marino rookie and the Rice rookie are so valuable. There just isn't supply. So again, how did we come up with value for Marino and Rice? Was based on very limited supply of a PSA 10, because the centering was very difficult, and most of those cards weren't very well centered. That's so the value comes on somebody on eBay buying the card and somebody selling, and they go, yep, 100,000, I'll sell it to you for. Now the Montana PSA 10 is worth 100,000. That's the value of that card. It must be graded, must say PSA 10. And as long as it says it, then you could get 100,000 for the card. That's the value of the card because the market said so. Somebody bought it, somebody sold it, the buyer said, I will pay it. Therefore, the market has spoken, and therefore that's where the value of the card comes in. So if you're getting value for your house, your car, or whatever, your Picasso, your Van Gogh, your Rolex. I showed you the Rolex, 820,000. Now that has white gold and diamonds in it, but it does say what it is. So if you have that, it's worth $820,000, which you paid maybe, I don't know what if you bought it new from the store and it had the diamonds, I don't know what they would charge for it. Maybe 50,000, maybe 70,000. I don't know. I'll have to ask. There's a Rolex store a couple miles away. It's a jewelry store, but it sells Rolex. So I'm just curious if I showed them this 820 and I say, well, what was it when you sold it? If you guys had it when it was brand new and you were selling it, was it 50 grand and now it's 820 or whatever? But see, that's where the value comes. It's what people are willing to pay for it. That's the value. But the problem is you can't fuck around with the money. If you print this to death, and here's the house example, right? The house is worth 500 grand in monopoly money that's printed to death, right? There's no way the house has the value if this was a real dollar that wasn't printed to death, right? So because this dollar is printed and has no value, the value of this dollar is dropped. So the house is worth 500,000 in this. And that's why I say, but in gold, this goes to zero, your house goes to zero. Now you're gonna revalue your house in gold, which is extremely limited and expensive. So maybe 3 ounces of gold buys that $500,000 house, which isn't worth 500,000 anymore. It's worth zero. And the seller gets panicky because he goes, holy shit, I can't sell my house. I was counting on this to retire. I can't sell it because the money's no good anymore. The value of the house in dollars is zero. However, the value of the house in gold, it will keep a value. So always don't panic. Anything you have that's worthwhile, your Rolexes, your Joe Burrow cards, Nick, they will keep value in gold. They will lose value in dollars. So your Rolex goes to zero and you're going, fuck, what do you mean? But then in gold, the Rolex goes to maybe a half ounce, which is worth $40,000. But that's what the market will bear. I'll give you a half ounce of gold for your Rolex. And you'll be doing cartwheels all over the place because that's going to be a lot of money. And that's why you don't want to sell your gold and silver unless you have to, and only an ounce here and there, not too much. So that's why I'm being very careful. And I got to tell the girls, I don't have any money. I have Rumpelstiltskin my paper dollars, and I moved them into gold and silver. And so now, but I don't want to sell the golden goose. I am not selling my gold and silver at this point. Later I might, but at this point, I don't want to sell it. So if I'm not selling it, I don't really have money. I have very little of this because I don't want it. I have enough, for certain things, and that's it. But we're seeing that they're losing value. So the value of the dollar is gone. We've lost 99% of the value of the dollar. So that's kaboosh. And now it's in gold. And we know gold's going to go to the moon because very limited supply, huge demand. And the demand will grow as the dollars go out. Everybody's going to freak out and go, well, what can I get into? And it's gold and silver, not Bitcoin. Gold and silver will save you. Bitcoin, you're going down with the ship because Bitcoin is priced in dollars, just like your house. So the house goes to zero. Guess what? Bitcoin goes to zero. Gold goes to zero in dollars, but gold then becomes Superman because then it has its value in gold. So gold is gold, and then the value goes through the roof 50 times or more. Who knows? Gold really shoots up. And then the demand for gold shoots up, but the supply is limited. So the value of the gold goes to the moon. And now I want to, okay, now I'll use the gold to buy a house. But if I sell it now, I lose the whole going to the moon. I can't get on the rocket ship if I give it away or sell it away. So I'm very, very careful. And when the girls want, I go, I don't have money. I have very little money, but I have a lot of gold. And, they're worried. Well, Howard, you're getting older. Like, you better do a will. So in case you die, we can't let all that gold go to waste. I go, no, don't worry. I'll figure out something to do with that. So anyway, that's how value is created, is by what somebody is willing to pay for it. And the value is derived by how many there are, how limited it is, right, out of 10 or out of 100, and the demand. It's Mantle, it's Brady, it's Jordan, it's Larry Bird. The demand is the key, and then how much is supply. So if 100 people want this Montana rookie, and there's only 20 of them that are 10s, they're going to have a little bidding war over it. Well, I want it. No, I want it. And I want it. And the price goes, because the insatiable, I want it, comes into the price. And that's really what you're looking at. So that's it. The medium of exchange is something different. It's how do you pay for the Mantle card? Oh, I'm going to use monopoly money. And that's where you get the $1 million, is I'm going to use this to purchase based on the value we've come up with, the $1 million. And what's happening is this is losing value. So I can't really use this to buy it. So therefore, if I'm not using this, I have to replace it. And we're on the 8th ruble, and Zimbabwe went through 5 or 6 ones before they went to the ZIG, which is gold back, and all the BRICS countries are going gold back. So the yuan is probably the 5th or 6th iteration of that, and the yen, and now it's backed by gold, so now it'll store its value. And that's what's happening. So gold is a different animal. It can't be printed, so you can't. So it's always like a PSA 10 Mantle rookie, which there might be 5 of them in the world, and that's what gold is. You can't counterfeit a Mantle card. You can't just let's print one up and we'll make it a 10. You can't, because the paper has got to be 1951. You can't just make so you can't. I couldn't go to a 3D copier, take a Mantle rookie and say, here it is. It would never pass. And that's what gold is. You can't counterfeit it. You can't just print gold up or make gold or anything like that, or use lead and copper and zinc and all these gold looking things and come up, because then you take the magnet out and they don't stick. That's the beauty of gold. You take the magnet and it sticks, it's fake. So once you have that, you can't fake it. So there's only so much gold. So it relates to the Mantle card. There's only so many PSA 10 Mantle rookies, if any, and then there's only so much gold. And again, but the demand for both is huge. The demand for the Mantle rookie is huge. The demand for the gold is huge. And here comes JP Morgan, like saying, well, we got all these PSA 10 Mantle rookies. And you're looking at them like, bullshit, you do not. And they're just going back and forth, selling, shorting, and longing the Mantle rookies, and it's all bullshit. You don't even have them. And that's what they're doing with gold. The 4 million tons, you don't even have it. So how is it allowed to keep going when there's no way they have it, when there's only 200? Swing and a miss. You only have 200,000 tons of gold. How do you have 4 million paper tons? How do you have 1,000 Mantle PSA 10 rookie cards that are PSA 10 when there may be 5 in existence? There probably isn't any. maybe there's one or two, but let's say there's five. How do you have 1,000 of them? They don't exist. What are you talking about? Well, yeah, we're just shorting them, and we're controlling the price of mantle cards, and that's really what they're doing with gold, right? They're shorting gold with all these ounces that don't exist, and then they're going long. It's all bullshit, and it's a Ponzi scheme. But the clever people who are us, who understand that they're trying to print 4 million tons when there's only 200,000. And we own the physical. So we are part of the 200,000 tons, like we're part of the mantle, let's say the 65 tops mantle. So there's not a lot of them. So therefore, we will sit there knowing there's not a lot of them, but knowing the price is bullshit. What do you mean you're pricing that mantle at 10,000? There's not any out there. So eventually the shit hits the fan. Eventually they go, okay, I want to buy some of yours at 10 grand. Well, we really don't have any. And that's what COMEX is going through. Well, we really don't have the physical gold or silver. Yeah, but you're showing an $80 price of, you're showing a $90 price on silver. I'd like to buy 100 of them. Well, I don't really have them. There's nothing in the vault. And China's got them all. So China's got all the mantle cards. And that's basically what's happened. So that's how the value comes. That's why you don't destroy the medium of exchange, because you fuck the prices up. I don't know what the prices are because I don't know the value of the medium of exchange. I'm fucked. And that's really what is everything. So that's why houses will lose their value, because you're fucking with the medium of exchange. So the price priced in a very heavily printed, inflated dollar is 500,000, but not in that, but priced in another vehicle, another value of a medium of exchange. So in this medium of exchange is 500,000. In the gold medium of exchange, like I said, it might be 2 ounces, 3 ounces of gold. You can't look at gold at $5,000 and the house is 500. That's apples and oranges. The house in gold might be 2 ounces. The house in monopoly money is 500. But we're talking about a totally different thing here. And that's really what you got to separate. So that's what we have. Let's check our gold right now. Let's see what we're doing with gold. That's why when you guys look at Bitcoin prices, I just roll my eyes, because they're not real, because at least I can have the mantle card in my hand. I can have this €5 in my hand. I cannot have the Bitcoin in my hand. Well, it's worth 75,000. Okay. You can sell it for 75. Okay. But what can you buy with it? Nothing, because nobody wants it. Nobody will take it. That's your problem. All right. Let's see what our gold and silver. Ooh, there we go. 89.13 for silver. Go boy, go. And gold. Oh, wait. No, that's an old price. You got to be careful when the screen doesn't refresh. There we go. Okay. So it was showing the 46.91, not the graph. So it got up to 47.08 earlier, and then it keeps falling. Like it goes to 47.15 and it falls. And then the 10 o'clock dropped to 46.75, and now basically 47. But the silver, 88.18. Let's see if we can get 90 already on it. But that's the key to it. This is all paper. This is 76 million tons of silver, even though there's only 1 million tons that are available in physical. And that's why the physical is worth a whole lot more. So like I say, it's like they're doing options on mantle cards, and there's only 5 PSA 10 rookies, and you're trying to sell 1,000 of them, but they don't exist. And that's what COMEX is. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. that there are gold and silver. You're selling so many more tons of it that don't exist. What the fuck are you doing? And that's what we're talking about. So keep that in mind. Um, the gold and silver is worth a lot more because we're talking physical gold and silver. And when they talk just regular gold and silver, they're talking these options. And as I just showed you, if you have 5 mantle cards that are PSA 10 versus 1,000, you're going to get a different price. And that's basically what you have. You have this low price in gold and silver versus the actual physical. When there's very short supply, you have a much smaller physical price. So keep that in mind. And that's where we're at. So 2 hours. I thought it was a very good discussion. I like how I kind of come up with certain ones, and I go, "Wow, that was a really good class." And I just get it out of thin air. I didn't really think about baseball cards until I went to eBay, but it does show the supply and demand. It does show the medium exchange. It does show the value, and the value is really the key. What is something worth? What we're willing to pay for it. It's as simple as that. Toyota wants to sell a car for $30,000. I don't want to buy it. It's not worth it to me. And everybody has their own value. So somebody might want it for 30 grand. I'll sell it. I'll buy it for 25 grand. That's my value is 25. Somebody else's value is 30. So don't get too caught up in value. It's really what you'll pay. So the $500,000 house is what you're willing to pay for it. And then it's like, so what you try to do is find a seller who has to sell. My wife died. I don't want to be here. My kids left me. I just want a small house. So he doesn't really care. He'll take whatever money, but he's not really like, what's a real value? And it's sold for 5,010 or 505. And that's what I'm going to sell it for. Because I don't need to sell. So you don't want to deal, if you're buying a house or car, with somebody who doesn't need to sell. You want to deal with the guy who, I just want to get rid of it. I just want the value. That's who you want to deal with, and you'll get a better value. Same thing with the mantle card or the Joe Montana rookie. The guy for 79,000 probably just needs the money, and the guy for 100,000 is like, that's what it's worth. That's what I want. So keep in mind like that. Anyway, I'm off to get new glasses. I'm going to the pool. I am hungry. And that's what makes time travel possible. So I'm going to go in my flux capacitor and flux, and hopefully my fridge stays quiet. And I got to get used to it. Again, I'm used to it turning off. So it's not turning off. I'm getting frustrated. Now, I called my friend. And he says it doesn't turn off necessarily. So your fridge might keep running all day. It's not it's not a real high electric bill. The current fridges, if you were to buy a new one, you wouldn't hear it. So that's why you never know, does it go? This is an older fridge. Now, this is kind of minor. I can live with, but I would like it to be quiet and not. But now I'm not waiting for it to stop. I realize it's just noise in the background. So hopefully I won't lose my mind. Anyway, I think that's it. So good luck today. Yes, we are taking Detroit. The locks, the Yankees look like a 3-star. And Texas over 8's a 3-star. I think that's it. We did play Milwaukee and Milwaukee under. It looks like a good matchup for that. Scanes came through for us yesterday. Way to go, Scanesy. He's the best person in the league, so they talk Scooble, but I would trade him for Scanes in a heartbeat, but I don't think Pittsburgh's that stupid. But I would have traded Scooble at the beginning of I would not have let him pitch at all because now he's hurt and he hopes to come back. Bullshit. The way the Tigers look, they'll be 30 games back anyway. And who's going to trade for him now? All right. Have a good day. Questions, comments, you can email me, teacherking.com. Get my email. Otherwise, hit me here. And that's it. So we'll have our baseball, basketball tomorrow. I don't think there's basketball tomorrow. San Antonio, I think, swept. So I think we got the Pistons tonight, and then we'll have the Pistons on Friday night. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. Anyway, that's what's going on. So have a good day. Bookshelves made. I'm making progress. And the only thing I'm looking at microwaves that they're fairly cheap at some of these stores, $75. I don't have one. It was part of the overlook. She mentioned it to me. I said, I don't care. They're cheap. And then I questioned, where's the microwave? And she said, well, they don't have it. You said you'd buy one. I said, oh, okay. I don't care. In the long run, I'm saving like $350 a month times 10 would be about 7,000-8,000. So I'll gladly pay $100 for that. Otherwise, that's about it. So hopefully the fridge remains calm and doesn't keep me up. I took something out of the freezer. Maybe it was noisy. Maybe that's what's making it more quiet. I don't know. Anyway, have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Enjoy. Let's get this 90 silver and let's get fucking 49, 5,000 in gold already. It's been 47.20 to 46.80. Normally when it does that, and it does it for a while, you get that breakup out. We should get 52, 5,300 in the next week or two. It's the middle of the month, so it should be going up because it always comes down at the end of the month. So where's the rise in the beginning of the month? So we'll see that. Anyway, have a good day. Enjoy. If you're going to a trade show, let me know. And that's what you're looking for, the four things: the edges, the corners, the centering, and the face of the picture itself. And if all those are clean, you got a 10, and you're going to buy it really cheap at a card show. So do that. All right. Have a good day, everybody. The Teaser King.